Hello, this is First Fire Non-Assault Move. Welcome back to the 23rd video in the War in the East series. Let's get a situation report. And immediately, I'd like to point out the weather, which has been a hot topic over the past several turns. And let's check it out. We are no longer under blizzard effects. It is snow. The slow, fat, pleasant flakes are coming down upon the German helmets, and they are rejoicing because we are no longer under the 1941 Winter Special Rule and the constraints it placed upon the German forces. The Germans are not crippled. They are able to fight and fight back, and that is a glorious thing. So let's take a look at the front. I haven't done my aerial recon. I kind of want to save my planes because I believe obviously you're using planes to do recon. I wanted to save all my planes that could possibly provide combat support and also uh, drop supplies. So I didn't do aerial recon. I don't think it's necessary uh, this week to do so. All right, so we talked about what was happening in the last video. Let's do a quick recap. Army Group North has retreated from the northernmost sector of their front, and that was a decision I made maybe a couple weeks ago in the game. I didn't want. I had two infantry corps up there, and I didn't want them to get kicked out, encircled. And even though this is frozen over, these whited out hexes are not traversable. So we still could have used that to our advantage on the front, but nonetheless, I don't think strategically it's that greater impact to lose this part of Army Group North's area of operations. Anyway, so a while back I used this option to create a fortified unit in selected hex. And you know what? I can't remember if that was actually one of my infantry divisions that turned into a garrison, a fortified zone. Let's look at it. 27 rifle, 39 squads. I think it no, because it's only battalion sized. What I did is I clicked on that button, on that hex, and I think it created a fortified zone. And what it did is it cost admin points. Ugh, I don't remember exactly. I don't think it converted an infantry division into this fortified zone unit. But you know what? I went about and I tried that, and this hex never got attacked. It was an experiment. Anyways, yeah, you can see the Soviets never came adjacent to this part of the front. All the action was down by Pskov and Veliky Luki and Vitebsk, but throughout the course of the 3 months, yes, 13 weeks, Army Group North was the most in danger starting out, but we gave ground. We shuffled our forces. We withdrew in good order, plugging some gaps, and I gradually, like I had mentioned earlier, withdrew west and north, so reinforcing Army Group North with some of Army Group Center's formations. And that was necessary. The center was never in danger. It was always in good shape, never had any concerns. It was the north and the south, particularly where my Axis miners were. I mean, they did a great job. They did the best they could. They got their some of their divisions got routed a number of times, but you know what? They reconstituted, reformed, and they got back in the line and they continued to fight. They did not crumble. There was no breakthroughs. They gave ground, but they remained in good order with discipline, and their fighting spirit was high. And full marks for our Axis miners. Greatly appreciated. German High Command greatly appreciates their efforts. Yeah, and also Army Group South had a few gaps that Soviets at one point had um, 4 surrounding hexes around our 1 hex, and that was troublesome. But again, retreating, withdrawing in good order, patching them up, shortening lines. Shortening our lines helped a lot because allowed us to uh, free up more troops to cover more of, not cover more of the front, but to thicken the front, a more troop density. So that really is the summary in broad strokes. So the big topic, the big uh, uh, things to consider is what are we going to do for our spring and summer offensive? I have some tentative plans. We talked a little bit about some shaping operations, which I think will be what we're going to start off with. But are we going to have a true grand offensive in 1942? Or will it be a combination of smaller offensives? Because territorially, I'm not too worried about gaining back the lost ground. What I really want to do is destroy Soviet formations. Because we want to win in 1943. We need victory points for that, but in order to get victory points, we need to destroy Soviet formations that are defending those victory points. So our immediate goals will be to find places where we can get encirclements, because that's the easiest way to destroy great quantities of Soviet divisions. So yeah, that's what it's going to be like for the first couple of weeks. A couple localized attacks here and there as the weeks progress. There will be no attacks during the mud turns, and we'll take full advantage of arraying our forces, rearranging, and positioning ourselves for those either smaller offensives or one grand one. Right now, let's look out. There's really no natural projection along the front candidate for an encirclement. We're going to have to create our own, which takes resources, time, and it's definitely not as easy when we do it that way. So the front's not going to end up with a clear-cut candidate to conduct an encirclement. Apologies, little interruption. So I want to show you a few other things that I did. Oh yeah, so much this game that truthfully I don't really look at. And let's check some stuff out. Where are you? Where are you? No. Yeah, not it. No, that's not it either. Commander's report. Events log. Okay, well, let's look at this first. So let's look at this screen first and compare it to another screen. This gives you a great amount of information that happens during the logistics phase. Another place to find out what's going on with the weather, with the regions, and they have promotions here, which is really cool. Trait increases as well. Who knew the War in the East was an RPG, right? Some trait increases. That's awesome. Arrived units. So instead of me scanning around trying to find all these units, I can just look here and know that these units arrived. And we've already saw those last video. And it tells you some units that are withdrawn. Some of the upgrades as well. Brigades became light divisions, etc. And arrived air groups. Unfortunately, we have some air groups withdrawn. Aircraft upgrades and swaps. Pilot training. Look at that. Pilots are getting better and better. And production, whole lot to read here and digest what's going on here. We scroll down more, and then there's even more stuff. Some of our tanks are being converted, and that takes armaments, which are supplies. Unfortunately, we cannot use captured cities' armaments. We cannot do that. We can only use their manpower and fuel. So, using up some supplies to do some conversions, some upgrades. Coming down here. And we scrapped some units, which, like captured units, we scrapped for parts, which gained us armaments. So yeah, that's great. All those captured and damaged vehicles that we overrun in our attacks, we can get some materials out of that. Moving down here some more. And then the list goes on and on. Refit and replacements. It's just incredible amount of detail and information for all those who want to take some time, drink some coffee, smoke a cigar, and just peruse through these information screens. Yeah, very cool. So I've been looking through here a little bit, not at great length, but just to take a peek and see what's going on. And it tells you some of the supply, how the game mechanic kind of works. You have a pool, you have this amount ready, these were damaged. They wanted 0 of them, and 0 were built. So let's look down, because the Panzer III H's, you know, it's still only 1942, so the Panzer III's, you think, oh, wow, only think German and the Wehrmacht and, you know, World War II, it's always about Panthers and Tigers, but no, there were hundreds of Panzer III's variants that took part in Kursk, 1943. Yeah, so the Panzer III H's, that's the real, that's a cat's meow at this point of the war. The Panzer IV F2s with the long 75s, those could take on the T-34s and the KV-1s. Well, KV-1s even, that's a challenge. KV-1, KV-2s, but so there's not much of a demand because these are just coming online, but we look at our, some Stugs. Oh no, Stug Bs were, we needed logistics. Let's peruse down here some more. Where did I see that? Oh, here we go. So Panther 3Hs, we're building them up. Building up a pool, but look how many Panzer 2Cs we're still fielding. And our Panzer 38, Panzer 38Ts, you know. Yeah, I think the crews in these Panzer 38s and 2Cs are like, hey, get me in some of these Panzer 3s that are coming out, please. There we go. Panzer 4Fs. There we go. Ready 142. 2 were damaged. 2 were wanted. 2 were added. And they got 1 back from repairs. Okay. And lost when they're irreparable damage, they'll be in the lost column. So, again, great amount of information. Just wanted to show that. And this is even more more of an eyeful. You have all your units here. Yeah, just look at that. Tells you the men, the guns, AFEs, and we'll go to equipment and it'll drill down into the weeds even more. But I wanted to show you headquarters is great too. Gives you a more of a operational and strategic view of your forces, your corps, and your armies and your army groups. Leaders, okay. So, shame on me that I had Herman sitting on the sidelines for so long. Yeah, Herman Bulk. He's one of my favorites. Reading all the books I've read over the years, many years, many books, and Bulk always struck me as a very interesting commander. Herman Bulk commanded the 11th Panzer Division at one point. And I'm reading Panzerleader again, I don't know how many times, rereading it. And there's some great little excerpts. Um, then, at the time, Colonel Bulk, commander of an infantry brigade, I think of the 2nd Panzer Division or 1st Panzer Division. Anyway, Guderian had some nice snippets in his book involving Bulk. And obviously, Guderian had an incredible amount of respect for Herman. Anyway, so I demoted the commander of the 24th Panzer Corps, and I promoted Herman Bulk to the 24th Panzer Corps. And here you can see the stats of the leaders. Political stats, I'm not really sure how that affects the performance of the units under Herman's command. Morale's pretty obvious. Better morale, better you're going to fight, better you're going to remain in good order. Initiative, kind of obvious again. Who's going to react quicker? Who's going to have the initiative in the fight and get a tactical advantage? Admin, I think that's probably relates to how many divisions as a corps commander you can command effectively. And mechanize 8. So again, that will obviously apply to any attacks and defenses when using mechanized forces and similar infantry. And he's obviously not an air commander. So, yeah, 8s, 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 6, 8, 7. So Herman is now in charge of 24th Panzer Corps in Huba. Oh yes, where are you? Where are you? Hans Huba. Yep, read a lot about him. Very highly regarded. I don't stir any controversy, but um, to Victor the Spoils, to Hollywood, you learn. I call it Hollywood history, and you get these snapshots to people that watch movies and they don't read what works scholarship. And there are some commanders that are aggrandized, like become movie heroes, but lost in the sauce, because the Eastern Front was obviously not really great interest to the U.S. There were so many incredibly talented commanders on both sides, the Soviets and the German sides, that there are probably, I don't know. This is a very general statement, but Rommel got all the glory and the press, but there were probably 10, 20, 30 Rommel equivalents, or even better, fighting daily on the Eastern Front that didn't get any press. But there are so many incredibly talented commanders during World War II. And for the Germans and Soviets, they were largely, uh, just by sheer quantitude of troops and priority, were on the Eastern Front. Anyways, so yeah, Huba, very talented, great commander. And you can see he's got some 8s, some 6s, and a 7. So I replaced, I forget who are, Venk. I think I replaced Venk and, oof. I forget who I replaced, but they're like 6s and 5s. So Hub is now command of the 57th Panzer Corps. So this is a really interesting screen and battles. You can look, and instead of going through and looking at the icons and mousing over and getting the details, here it's all laid out for you. Yeah, very cool. Locations and equipment. And I didn't know this, but the game and its combat resolutions factors in the side armor, the frontal armor and the side armor and the top armor of the vehicles, of the AFEs. That's really cool. And I wonder what the algorithm is, how these are applied in combat resolutions. Maybe the corps commander and the quality of the division uh, determines that it's a trickle down effect that the battalion company commanders, platoon commanders will present the frontal armor more so than the side armor. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this is factored in, but it's pretty interesting. Obviously, on a tactical scale, these are enormously important in tactical war games. But how are they applied in combat resolutions in a strategic game, operational game like this? I thought that was cool. Very interesting. What else did I want to show you? So, talked about commanders, those info screens, uh, and some plans. Right now, I'm at the point of clicking the next turn. We've done all the moves, railroad repair engineers. Unfortunately, we saw we had some troops come in, so we look forward to getting these troops back in the line, but we've used up our rail cap. So there are no trains to get on right now for these two divisions, but that's okay. The front is stable. It is snowing, and there'll be more than enough time when mud sets in and this bad weather continues. We are not going to go over on the offensive anytime soon, so they'll get here pretty quick. And partisans, yeah, they've been popping up. Yeah, we brought over Mountain Division, and we had 2 train loads of troops that finally made it to the front. So that's why we used up our rail cap. Don't see many partisans. I chased away some. What? Did I not chase away? That I was probably not ready. I probably couldn't reach. Yeah, this partisan was just out of reach. But I think I scared off the rest of them. Alright, I know I did my repairs, railroad repairs. Everybody's in command and control. I did all the air transportation I could do. Going down our checklist before I hit next turn. Funny, the Soviets, well, we can expect some attacks for sure. They're still going to attack in the snow because we're not at our full capacity, and they don't want to relent. They don't want to give us the initiative. They don't want to hand it over just yet along the front. So we'll expect some attacks. We will be able to defend better. And when we had that 1 week where there was mud from Cherkasy down, or it was just a small patch. Where was it? I think it was a small patch here. Was mud? The Soviets attacked in it. They didn't do very well, but they will attack in any weather. So let's expect them to attack. All right, I'm ready. If you are, again, everyone's command control, move our reinforcements, chased off partisans, did airdrops, repaired railroads. All right, let's do it. Yes. You know, the dread and the misery over the past 13 weeks clicking next turn. I don't feel it as bad. Still got the, still concerned, what could happen? What did I miss? But it's not a blizzard anymore. So, quickly saw there was a little bulge I had with some of my infantry. I didn't want to move them out of there because that could be a jumping off point. I could have tightened the lines a little bit. Yep. Still gonna get every lick in they can on our Axis miners. Yeah. I jinxed myself. They hadn't come down that far, and here they are coming down. They're gonna pick their spots where they can get their best resolution. I mean, during the winter, the blizzard, they were just attacking everything, anywhere and everywhere. Here they're going to not be as so crazy. Oh wow! They better hope it's mud, because we're going to do some bad things. Some extreme brigades that just stuck themselves in there. A lot of air support on that deliberate attack. 5 or 6 Soviet forces. Oh, they routed our Croatian infantry regiment. How dare they? I didn't expect them to attack this much. Started to remain in place more along the front, so we do have some started to dig in more. We have that fort level, which those Hungarians had, but still the Soviets are still able to push them out. I may rope-a-dope some of the Soviets in some spots. Intentionally making a little bit of a salient. Giving them some hope. Yeah, they are undeterred. They said, Soviets are saying, we don't need no special rule. We're still going to attack. Yeah, that's an example of the attrition and the hard fighting and 3 months constantly being attacked, taking its toll on our Axis miners. What we really want is mud, just to take some of the heat off our Axis miners, reconstitute, resupply. Well, that was it. Trust me, that was a far shorter churn. There was over 50 attacks on average during the blizzard. And yeah, Soviets are still going to attack where they can, getting where they have the greatest advantage, especially against Romanians and Hungarians. So that's it. And that's the lowest casualty count for a long time on our part. We only lost 13 AFVs, 22,000 men. We were up in the 30s, 40s, 50s during blizzard weeks. That is great. Consequently, Soviets didn't lose much. Still lost over 200 tanks. Not too bad. And let's check out the weather real quick before we complete this video. Let's look. What? Come on, man. Blizzard? That's Moscow. Caucasus. Are you kidding me? I don't think we're in the special rule this time. I don't think we'll be cut in thirds. Man. Not what I wanted. So, it's really hard to detect. If you look real close, you can see the white specks that indicate snow. Well, if it's a blizzard, they are colored in more. If you can see that clear difference, then you get better eyes than I do. You can see it a little better here. See the little black dots where there are snow graphics? Well, if you look here, there aren't any, although that could be a black dot. Anyways, it's very, very hard to see graphically on the map like this where the delineation is with weather, so you just go, nope, near rules. Just go here, you can see. So it's perfectly straight line, just west of this mountain range and in front of Moscow. Thankfully, very thankfully, it's not going to affect any of our troops from here south. All right, so that's that. I can expect the same thing. What can we expect for the Germans next turn? Well, we'll continue to repair railroads. We'll continue to fly in supplies. We'll continue to chase off partisans. And we have to come up with a plan sooner than later, because look at second week of March. Before you know it, flowers are going to start to bloom, and we're going to have to get off our butts, get out of our igloos, and start attacking. Where's that going to be? I know one place we're going to attack. And that's right here. You want to see? Who will attack? Well, same. I think we shattered 3 brigades. Let's do the same here. Let's do a deliberate attack. Catch it on screen. Come on. Routed. That's really interesting. 3 brigades. They only lost 24 tanks. I think their losses. Let's look at that. Take a look. So we attacked with 33,000 men. They defended with 2,992. So those brigades were obviously not at their full complement. They've been attacking for those 3 months almost every single turn. Every week those tank brigades have been at it, and it showed. Yeah. They lost 24 AFEs. I think that's remaining. Is that what it's remaining? Don't know what the parentheses means. Maybe it's damaged. But 3 tank brigades, they only lost 24 tanks. I bet they didn't have much to begin with to lose. That's alright. They shouldn't have done that. Should have known better. And we will, before I forget, let's resupply these 2 divisions. Look at that. 18 ammo supply. Good job. Alright. I'm going to end it here. I will conduct moves. It'll be... moves won't be that... There won't be that many moves. Unless I have an epiphany, and... Or just say, heck with it, we're going to attack here and start to group up our attacking forces, preparing our attacking forces in an area for our spring and winter offensives. I really wanted to... I was really still thinking about taking Leningrad, but I was thinking of making this pincer movement. The terrain's just so terrible through here. I don't want to leave. Yeah, it has to be in the north, because we can't leave this like this. No. Well, wow. If they start to move troops in, we could cut them off. Moscow's not that... Leningrad is not that... Doesn't look that far, does it? And it's swampland here. We'd have this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 mile wide front to push our tanks through. And the infantry could seal off the eastern flank. These swamps. Push them back. Could become another Stalingrad, though, attacking and pushing through there. I don't know. I don't know if it's Leningrad, but we have to do something about this. It may go back to its pretty much what it looked like in before winter struck, and have a line in this sector of Army Group North. I'm thinking out loud here. We have to destroy Soviet formations. We can't get keyed in on taking cities. It's more important to destroy Soviet formations right now. And then by doing so, the secondary effect and third order effects is cities will be easier to take the less Soviet divisions there are to defend them with. All right. I thank you for watching, and I hope you're as excited as I am for the coming spring. This is First Fire, non-assault move out.